What's going on there, YouTube? And welcome to Fresh Comic Stories. Guys, this is the channel that we basically sit down and cover different kinds of comic book stories. Now, guys, today we're going to sit down and we are going to cover one of the worst Spider-Man stories of all time, One More Day. Reason why, because, well, we did cover Past Sins. We did cover Back in Black. So why not cover One More Day? Oh man, One More Day is harsh. But anyways, guys, please leave me a like down below and also subscribe for more comic book stories in the near future. Also, any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below. But yes, we are going to dive into One More Day, the storyline that basically ended the relationship of Mary Jane and Peter Parker. So this story does pick up right after the Back in Black storyline. Now remember, that story in this one takes place right after the Civil War event, where basically Peter Parker revealed to the world that Spider-Man was Peter Parker, which was huge. But in the Back in Black storyline, with the Kingpin now knowing that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, he basically set up a hit on Peter that ended up getting Aunt May shot. Which here we are now, that she is basically on her deathbed right now thanks to that sniper shot. And so right now you have Peter Parker and Mary Jane right now at the hospital hoping for a miracle, which then you have the doctor tell them that they would need some kind of money before the hospital can do anything for Aunt May. Now the doctor is a huge Spider-Man fan. He knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, but he can only prolong the hospital before they start asking for money. And so you have Peter Parker leave to go get some money from someone else. Which then leads us to Spider-Man going to Iron Man. Now, this is him basically trying to make Iron Man feel bad for what had happened to Aunt May. Because it was Iron Man who told Peter to tell the world he was Spider-Man, as a way to show no matter if the world knows your secret identity, Iron Man will be able to protect the people you love. But Peter is the one who left Iron Man's side and joined up with Captain America, which then made Spider-Man basically an outlaw. Because if you don't sign up with S.H.I.E.L.D., well, you were an outlaw. And so Spider-Man is right now an outlaw because he left Iron Man's side and went to go join Captain America. And so you have Iron Man kind of like, I can't help you, because if I do help you, well, then I put my job on the line because you are technically a criminal. I cannot help a criminal, Spider-Man. Now you have Peter Parker return to Mary Jane to tell her that he tried to get some money, but he failed to receive any money at all to help Aunt May. And so Mary Jane and Peter Parker, to them, this is like the end. But at the very last second, you have Jarvis, who is the butler of Iron Man, pretend to be the cousin of Aunt May to give the hospital money so they can take care of her, which is Iron Man being nice in his own way. But as soon as Mary Jane and Peter Parker start to get hope everything is going to be okay, that is when you have the doctor tell Peter that, hey, it's great you got the money, but for someone her age, she is not going to make it really. All we can do is just try to ease the pain for her, but she is going to die. And so you do have Peter Parker just leave the hospital once again. And this is him giving up on science, but saying, maybe, just maybe, magic can help me out. And so he goes to see Doctor Strange. Now, Doctor Strange is technically one of the best people in the Marvel Universe when it comes to magic. And so Peter Parker is hoping that just maybe Doctor Strange can just reverse everything for him. But then you have Doctor Strange say this right here. No, because one, she is old. But two, if I was able to change everything for you, what would be different? What would happen if she dies the next day, or the next week, or the next month? How will that be different? Peter, This could be her time to die. But then you have Peter snap back and say, no, because the thing is, if she dies down the road, it would be different because it would not be my fault. Now, Doctor Strange does give Peter the ability to look at different scenarios throughout time, where he goes to different people of the Marvel Universe asking for their help, which he does this with the hands of the dead. He tells them his story about his Aunt May dying, but each person tells him the same thing, that they cannot help him. And so he is literally back to square one again, where Aunt May is dying on a hospital bed. But then after Doctor Strange walks away thinking that he was able to convince Peter it is Aunt May's time, that is when you have Peter use the hands of the dead, hoping that he can change the past to fix the future. Now when Peter goes through the event once again, he comes to find out that the hands of the dead won't let him change the future, except just relive the past once again, where he had to watch his aunt get shot all over again, that there is nothing he can do to change the outcome. But then you have Doctor Strange bring him back to the present day because some time creatures were going to kill Spider-Man. But this is where you have Peter Parker realize, yes, this is going to be the end of Aunt May, and I cannot change it at all. And so after Peter Parker and Doctor Strange get back to the present day, and Peter finally realized that yes, this could be the end of Aunt May and I cannot change anything, that is when he leaves the house of Doctor Strange, turns to the next street over, and runs into a little girl. And this little girl tells Peter that she can help him to save his Aunt May. Now, this little girl is talking to Peter Parker in a way that would put a man down, because she's telling him that every time something is happening in his life, he puts everything and everyone to the side and try to make himself the center of the entire universe, like he is right now, where basically Aunt May is on her deathbed at the moment. Peter is going through hoops to find a way to save her life. But he is trying to make his story a sob story where he believes that almost anyone should stop what they are doing to help him. And so Peter Parker is right now listening to this little girl telling him how selfish he is in this world. Now, when this little girl goes around the corner, Peter Parker tries to follow her because this is a little girl in the middle of the city. And so he is trying to make sure that she gets to her parents safely. But then when Peter gets around the corner, he finds some random man there. This is where you have this man start talking to Peter about his own life. This man tells Peter that basically he was this high school guy who got picked on. But instead of trying to stand up for himself or trying to change his life, he turned all of this anger to video games, where in video games, you can control the world. You can control the people in that world. And so this man tells Peter that he gave up on bettering his own life and just playing games all day. Now then Peter turns around and then he sees some random man in this limo. And so you have Peter get in this limo to talk to this man. Now Peter is still looking for the little girl from earlier. And so he is talking to this man in the limo, hoping he can help him find the little girl. But then you have this man tell Peter about his own life story, where he tells Peter he was a man who got picked on in high school for just being smart. No one in his school liked him. And so this man went on to build his own company, where he was able to make millions of dollars. By the time he reached 30 years old, he was already a billionaire. The thing is though, when he was making money, he was ignoring the part of trying to have a social life. And so the one girl he truly cared for and always wanted never gave him the chance. Now, after Peter talked to the man in the limo, you have the man in the limo take Peter to this random lady in the middle of an alleyway. Now, this is where you have the lady tell Peter that the two men he just met earlier were actually Peter in a different timeline, where the spider never bitten him, that where the spider was killed off before it was able to get to Peter. But with that being said, those men were Peter from other timelines, where Peter used his brain to become a billionaire, or where Peter tried to forget about the real world and play video games, because that is the only time he was at peace. Now, this is where you have the random lady turn into Mephisto. Now, Mephisto is this demon who owns his own version of hell, which is really not hell, but his own version of hell. But you have Mephisto tell Peter that he has a way to save Aunt May. Now, Spider-Man knows how Mephisto works, where he will make a deal with you, but after that deal is made and you get what you want, Mephisto will have your soul once you are dead. But then you have Mephisto tell Peter that no, he wants something that is more valuable than a soul. Which then you have Mephisto teleport Mary Jane in the room with them, which then it leads to him telling them both that he will help them, but they will have to give up their love so that he can save Aunt May's life. That basically Peter Parker and Mary Jane's love is more valuable than any other soul out there. And so after Mephisto tells Peter and Mary Jane what he wants, you have Mephisto kind of lead them to talk about what they are going to do. Because he has the powers to change everything, where he is able to save Aunt May's life. Now, this is the only thing I truly like about this story, really, because, well, it sucks. But you have Mary Jane go to Peter and she asks him why, because she knows that Peter is thinking about giving up their love to save Aunt May's life. But she wants to know why, because Mary Jane is thinking like everyone else, that maybe this is Aunt May's time to die, that it is time to let her go. But he tells Mary Jane why he wants to do this, because he blames himself for all of this mess. And so if she dies, he would not be able to live with the idea of her death being really his fault. And so with that being said, you have Peter and Mary Jane agree that it is okay to give up their love to save Aunt May's life. Now, this is where you have Mephisto reappear and they tell him that they will give up their love to change the timeline a little, where Aunt May will survive, but also Peter and Mary Jane were never married. He changed her timeline where Peter missed the wedding, and this is how Marvel retconned the relationship of Peter and Mary Jane. Now, before this new world where Peter and Mary Jane are not married anymore, we come to find out that the little girl from earlier was Peter and Mary Jane child that would have come down the road, but now will no longer ever happen. And so after Peter Parker makes the deal with the devil, he wakes up the next day where he does not really remember making the deal with the devil. The only thing he does remember is that, well, Mary Jane and him did not work out. And so he is single, living at home with Aunt May. But he wakes up late for a big event, which we come to find out that he is late for the coming home party for Harry Osborn. Now, this is huge because Harry Osborn died in the Spectacular Spider-Man number 200, which took place in 1993, when he was the Green Goblin at the time. But now with the deal being made, he did not die. And so now he is back. But also, Peter Parker meets his next love interest, which of course is Carly Cooper. And this is where we end this crazy story. Alright guys, so this is the part of the video where I basically sit down and give my thoughts on about this storyline. Now, like I said in the beginning of this video, and I'm pretty sure I will say it again in the middle of this video, one more day is, whew, It's rough, guys. One More Day is truthfully one of the rough stories to read because One More Day was the idea that Marvel always had this long game plan of, hey, Peter Parker should be single. He should not be with anybody at all. If he is with somebody, it should only last for a few books and then get a new person involved. Well, the problem was the fans did not want that. The fans kind of did like the Peter Parker and Mary Jane marriage. And so it was kind of weird that Marvel decided, you know what? Forget what the fans want. They don't know what they want. The fans need us to give them what they want. And truthfully, they want this. They want a Peter Parker who's single, out there, dating a new girl each year. Like, no, he should not be tied down and married. Because if he's tied down and married, well, Peter Parker is old. We can't have that because if you're married, you're old. No, we need a hot, young, single Peter Parker out there dating a new girl every single year. And the thing is, guys, that was not right. Like, you can go out there in the world and you can read One More Day yourself or see other people reviews on One More Day. And honestly, you're going to find more people who did not like this storyline than people who did like this storyline. Now, I will admit that this storyline is bad, yes, but there are some bright moments here and there. Like, for example, Doctor Strange telling Peter, hey man, listen, you're being selfish here. Like, let her die. You're trying to keep her here on Earth because, well, it's your fault. Guess what, man? So what? Move on. Gwen Stacy kind of died, and that was kind of your fault right there. Other people have died probably because it was your fault. Yes, I understand that this is your Aunt May, basically your mom, but let her go. And so, like I said, I kind of like the idea of Doctor Strange and other people telling Peter, hey man, you're being kind of selfish. Yes, it's your fault she got shot, but let the girl go. Let the woman die. Let her move on to the next life. But Peter's all like, nope, can't do that. Cannot let her die. I must keep her around. No. And that's why I say I truthfully do not like this story at all. It's kind of like, Peter, come on, man. Peter, let her go. But anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end today's video. So please leave me a like down below and also subscribe for more comic book stories in the near future. Also, any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, I will see you on the next comic book video. Later, guys.